Starting to realize how I am. What's up, team, and welcome to my channel. My name's Jess, and in this video we're going to be going through my Hyrox Chicago 2025, my Hyrox debut, you may say, race weekend recap. I'll take you through what I did this weekend, my race results, how I got here, why I did the race, and most importantly, what I think anyone coming from road running should know headed into a Hyrox. First of all, you may be wondering, what is Hyrox? It's a fitness race, and at first I said I was never going to do it. And here I am making a race recap video. But you have 1K of running between 8 stations, including 1K ski erg, sled push, sled pull, burpee broad jump, row, farmer carry, lunges, wall balls. 8K of running and all of those things. First off, let's just take it to the day before the race. I'm starting to realize how I am. But it's okay. I'm an athlete, kind of. I'll survive. Landed in Chicago at like midnight last night. Had a nice little sleep-in, relaxed morning with one of my childhood friends. But I'm not gonna lie, my body feels achy. I'm sore. I'm heavy. So I'm gonna do like 10-minute walk, 15, 20-minute shakeout run, a little bit of stretching. Hopefully that makes me feel better. Absolutely freaking lucked out with the weather today, though. It was just snowing the other day. Starts raining in LA yesterday. Come back. Beautiful day, like mid-60s today. So we'll get a nice little run in. So I'm here in Chicago because I grew up about an hour away. It's a city that I'm comfortable with. I get to see some friends and family as I come to Chicago, and I more or less know what to expect. There's very little travel stress for me, and I know where I'm gonna feel comfortable running. We were really lucky with the weather. Chicago is beautiful. I haven't seen leaves like this in a little while. When I ran the Chicago Marathon last year, I don't remember having the leaves crunchy on the ground like this. So this shakeout run was super enjoyable. I couldn't have asked for better weather, and I couldn't have asked for better company either. I got to see my childhood friends who I danced with from the time I was 7 years old up until maybe 5th grade, and then we stayed friends, especially me and Fran. We're still really close. I haven't even made it to race day yet, but I gotta stop right here and say I am so lucky for her support. She came out when I ran the Chicago Marathon. She's always been there, always has been, and I'm very lucky to have her. I have some good friends, okay, I really do. But I also chose Chicago because it's a walkable city with solid food, and like, if you haven't been to Chicago and you're a runner, try to get in the Chicago Marathon or go through charity or do one of these Hyrox. It seems like they do multiple in Chicago a year, or maybe I'm tripping, I don't know. But it's a walkable city. There's really solid food. There's plenty of tourist stuff to do, from like city boat tours to the Children's Museum. If you're there for nightlife, there's nightlife. Like, you can have a lot of fun in Chicago, okay? Okay, the check-in process for Hyrox, I've seen a lot of different things on the internet, but mine was super simple. Maybe it's because I was the first heat of the day, because you can get there up to 90 minutes before. My heat was at 8 o'clock. We got there at maybe 7. Check-in was fast and it was fine. I didn't worry about it, but I've seen very different things from different Hyrox races. They essentially write your number on your arm, they give you a wristband, and they give you a timing chip to put around your ankle, which I put on backwards at first because I hadn't used this before. We're here. Being first is scary.
Kind of is. It's like setting the tone.
So yeah, I guess you could chase me around if you want.
Right.
Because it looks like you have free reign to go kind of wherever. I don't know how any of this works. It's kind of scary. Before I talk about the general things I think runners should know going into Hyrox, let's recap my race. I didn't train specifically for this race, but I have been training. I've been running, and I take class at the yard all the time, so I'm using the ski and the row, and I lift weights. So it's not like I'm not fit at all. I have some fitness. That being said, I thought the competitor that comes out in me when I do, say, a local 5K.
Hey.
Number 4, number 4.
Yeah, Jazz! Come on!
Oh, look at this. Pulling this. Nice job.
Would come out once the gun went off for Hyrox. Usually, if physically I feel as good as I did in the back half of this race, I would send it and start trying to take people down. But that never came. The whole time I was just kind of like not in a good headspace. Like when I saw my friends, I'd be like, woo, but I never got that competitive drive. That's okay. I didn't have a bad time. I'm not sold on doing solo again though. Anyways, let's talk about how I actually executed the race. Except for the first 2 runs, I was running slower than half marathon pace, even slower than marathon pace for the most part, like my real marathon pace, not even like goal pace. It felt like I was using them to recover more than using them as part of the race. So I feel like there might be a little time on the table there. Now for each of the stations, 1K ski, and this includes the time like that you're running in the workout station. There's like a separate rock zone time. The rock zone, vocab word, by the way, is like where you enter where all the workouts are to where you exit where all the workouts are. There's its own little zone and there's a water station there. Your time is not just like how long it took you from the time you did your first pull to the time to the end. That's your time for like the whole time in the ski area. 1K ski says I did 12th. That seems fast. No, that seems fast. How many people were in this? Okay, I literally couldn't find it on the Hyrox website, but on highresult.com, it looks like there were 1128 finishers, the open women's category. So that's cool. 12, that's pretty freaking sick. Run 2, 441. 50-meter sled push, did that in 137. That's 63rd. This is where we get really slow compared to other people, but it's fine. Is 50-meter sled pull, took me 5 minutes. I will say 2 things happened. One, I got a little lost. I turned to the girl next to me and said, where do we go in the sled area? Because when I finished, I couldn't see anyone exiting. So I was like, so that was a little bit of time, but not that much time. I was still slow at the sled pull. 2, I have never used a big long rope like that. Usually I use the one where you pull it, take like 2-3 steps back, like there's 2 handles. So it's definitely a learning curve. I'm still curved. Hopefully my partner for Anaheim can do some of the carrying there because I still haven't practiced with that. But I think I've learned some tips on how to do it better next time. 80-meter burpee drop, broad jump, did that in 4:22. That puts me in 69th place. Which all these places for the little things literally don't matter, but I think it's kind of cool to see where you stack up, right? Anyways, 69th in 4:22. 1K row, did that in 4:55. That's where I got really mentally locked out. It wasn't hard. I wasn't pulling hard. I was literally like, we're just gonna vibe here. It's nice to sit down. Because at that point, I've already been going for a while, you know? This is also where my run started to slow down. I was running just based on vibes, but I thought I was maintaining the pace from like my second and third lap, but I was slowing down. 200-meter farmer carry, I literally set it down for like 20 seconds and said a few words to my friends, and I was like excited for this to be done, which I don't think I was bored. I think I just wasn't locked in, and usually I have an exhilarating feeling of being locked in on a good race, especially something that I'm doing for the first time. I usually get excited about that stuff. 770th 70th. I was slow regardless. I probably would have set it down a little bit anyways. 100-meter sandbag lunges, did that in 3 minutes, 29 seconds. That puts me at 49th. Wall balls, I knew the women had to hit the lower target, but I didn't really realize I had to hit a sensor in the target. Like, I feel like with someone's eyes, if I would have hit like the top of the woman's target, which I think I did, it would have counted, but it didn't. And I got a lot of no reps. Luckily, I was getting low enough. I have decent mobility, but I was not hitting my targets. I was throwing it a little too high. I didn't practice wall balls on a 9-foot target at all. I kind of just either launched it up a wall or launched it to the top of the rig. And I used a 14-pound ball the whole time. And the ball in Hyrox for women's open is like 9 pounds or something. So I need to practice that because I was slow at that as well. 6 minutes, 2 seconds, 451st place. Yeah, so total for running was 39:51, which is 120th. So above average, which is nice considering I consider myself a runner. Time 1:16:49. I feel like that's good for average people, and compared to other fitness girls, that's average. You guys could tell me. I think that's okay. It's my first one. I don't know what to compare it to. I didn't have a baseline. Who knows? Now I have a baseline. I don't know if I'll do solo again, but if I do, now I know what to go for and I know how to train. So that's my race for people who are nosy and want the stats and want to see where I stack up. My dog's here asleep next to me. She was in my first YouTube video too. Can you see her? Yeah. Here's probably the most useful part of the video. Here's what I think every runner should know before they sign up for Hyrox. One, everyone says it's a runner's race, and it kind of is. I didn't find the running very hard, even with tired legs after the sled and stuff. But you definitely need some baseline strength. While over the past couple years, running and boxing have kind of been my main thing, I have continued to lift, and like you need to. You can't think the cardio will carry you through the ski and the row and the burpee broad jumps. You do need some strength. The sled I thought was fine, but I strength train. I feel like for my size, I have pretty good squat and deadlift, and my quads were burning up from the sled push. So I've continued to strength train more to support my goals in running and boxing rather than being a gym rat training for aesthetics like I did for a little bit. But that strength training really helps. You gotta do that. A lot of people who train Hyrox talk about training compromised running. So like running when your legs are already fatigued. Maybe do it. Do a couple simulations to make sure that you're okay and can handle it and find the pace that you can shake your legs out before going full send again. I didn't do compromised running except for the simulation type work that we kind of do. Take classes with the Yard West Hollywood 247. We've been doing a training series. So we've been running and then lifting back to back, you know? Aside from 2 or 3 of those, I let my runs be my runs so I could have quality there. Let my lifts be my lifts. I think that's going to continue to be my training philosophy because my legs were fine, honestly. But just be aware of compromised running and maybe look into some people who specifically train hybrid. Next, there's rules. In road running, if you're not racing for like a podium place or a top 10 finish, I feel like there's a very carefree environment. You can get your fuel from a spectator. You cannot do that in Hyrox, okay? They will disqualify everybody. They will add time penalties on for everything. So read up on the rules, read the rule book, and watch the video. Hyrox judges, it seems like they could be hit or miss, both from my experience and from everything I see on the internet, but they're watching you, okay? Next, fueling. A lot of the people who are seriously doing Hyrox will take a gel. This race is over an hour for most, over an hour and a half for the average person. So it is the length of time where you will likely want some carbs. I kept one on me. I didn't use it, maybe because I was kind of going at like that. I was going hard, I wasn't going soft, but it was maybe like a 7 to 8 out of 10 effort for the most part. I never really felt that full fatigue kind of crash that I might on a longer run, even though for like a half marathon, I would probably take 2 gels during the race and 1 before. So I'm a big fan of using gels, fueling, staying on top of your carbs. And when I do Anaheim in 2 weeks, I do plan on taking my gel either right after the row or during it while my partner's on the row and seeing how that makes me feel. I also think having that time where I'm just standing there behind my partner or maybe running a little bit slower will be easier to digest. Like I feel like it's going to be less to worry about than taking it out of my shorts, taking the gel, putting the gel back in my shorts because the only garbage is in the rock zone by the water, you know? Who knows, maybe the gel would have given me a mental boost that I needed to want to compete or chase down a time, but I guess we'll never know. Along with fueling, I would probably treat this similar to a half marathon as far as carb load goes. You don't need a full 3-day carb load, I don't think, but if you want to do a 1 to 2 day, like you do in a half, where you're eating really simple carbs, minimal fat, minimal fiber, the day or 2 before, I think that's a good idea. The last thing I think you should know about Hyrox compared to road running is the culture. It's fairly different. First part about the culture that's different is the spectators. So I think because you have to 1, buy tickets, and 2, you can follow your racer along to every station, there's less just like waiting around and cheering for everyone. You know, like in a road marathon, You might be able to see your friends 2 or 3 times while they're out there for 2.5 to 6+ hours, you know? So you're probably waiting around a lot and cheering for other people and having some fun. Seems like a lot of people are just locked in on their person and then they got a jet, which is understandable. But if you draw support from a crowd, bring your friends or get ready to be your own hype person, okay? Kind of in culture and kind of just in the race itself is you're probably not gonna get in a pack. In the elite men's race, it seemed like people 3, 4, and 5 were kind of going off each other and finishing the stations at the same time, running more or less together. But I found it really hard to even know who was in my heat because even though I went first for the day, other people were joining the run every 10 minutes, right? So I might usually work with someone or work off of someone where maybe I take the lead for a little bit to set the pace, or I am following in or tucking in for wind purposes, whatever it may be, sharing a few words of motivation. I don't think that can really happen in Hyrox. I think it could a little bit, but it's much harder because people are constantly changing place throughout not just the run, but the station. So if someone's stronger than you at one thing, or you just get placed, one person's on this end on the near side, one person's on this end on the far side, it's hard to kind of stick together and work together. Like with this whole culture thing, it's also just not as silly. Like I saw a men's double in a costume. Otherwise, there's no costumes. It's not that silly. It's kind of serious. A couple other things to point out is, one, you don't get a medal and a t-shirt. I understand that it's probably like expensive to put on with all the equipment and stuff, but you know, I'm used to my race fees getting me a medal and a t-shirt. You get a patch. I'll show the patch. It's over there. I don't want to stand up. Anyways, I'm super excited for doubles. I think I'm gonna have a great time. I work so much harder when someone else is with me, either relying on me or pushing me or a little bit of both. And I say this all the time, but one of my favorite things in the world to do is get sweaty with my friends and work out with the people I love. And so doubles seems right up my alley. Solo, I could be convinced to do it again if I had a friend racing in the same division on the same day, or I knew a bunch of people doing it. I don't know if I want to go do that by myself again, to be completely honest. Anyways, I meant to end the video with the Hyrox Anaheim situation, which is in just a few weeks. So please follow along, subscribe. This rambling has gone too far and I'm gonna have to take a lot out of this video. I have another video coming out next week on the in-between that is a 4-4-48 or a training video with my friend who trains literal professional athletes for a living. So if you want to tell me which one I should finish and drop, I mean, we're all new here, okay? If you think this channel has potential, give it a subscribe. Peace. Have fun, fam. Stay safe.